feel that, huh?
Yeah.
Hey everybody, I'm Sister Johnny.
And I'm Kiana.
And we are Hella Speaking Up.
We want to thank y'all to the second episode. And we want to thank y'all for the experience because it's about to be hella lit. And we're going to pass it to Sister Johnny.
Hey, you know, I'm really excited because we have some really special people in the building right about now. Last week we talked about our guest that's here today from Cornerstone, that they're going to be coming here talking about the sterilization processing technician program. And I'm really excited about it because not a lot of people know about it. And everybody was asking me, what is that, Sister Johnny? What you talking about? And so now they're here and they're going to explain to you what it's all about for the next 30 minutes. So I'm really excited. So I'm going to have the CEO explain who he is, do his intro, and along with the instructor that is here, Ron, as well. So go ahead.
Hello everyone,
Cecilio.
My name is Cecilio Lorenzo. I am the CEO of Cornerstone International College. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting us.
Thank
All
you
right,
for being here.
Cecilio.
Thank you, and hello, my name is Ronald Reed. I'm an instructor at Cornerstone International College, and I teach the sterile processing technician program.
Yes, you do.
Good.
All
And
right.
also, you are the compliance officer.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good thing.
I was
Yeah.
keeping one of those feathers in my cap. Yes, I also work in compliance, which has a heavy portion of contractual verbiage and dealing with the decision makers of hospitals.
Oh, okay.
That's good. That's good. That's a
right.
beautiful thing. Okay, so we're gonna start off with you guys telling us a little about the program and what's to come and what's not to come out the program.
Yeah, what
sure.
is it?
Yeah. Well, we have a lot of unique programs. Cornerstone International College offers more of healthcare programs.
Okay.
For example, nursing assistant, home health aide,
Okay.
caregiving, dialysis technicians. Those are the short-term programs that are popular. Particularly sterilization technicians,
Okay.
or in other terms, sterile processing technicians. And Ron can tell us more about the sterile processing technicians since he is an instructor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, if any of us are familiar with TV shows like ER or
Absolutely.
medical
Yes.
practices, we see surgeries happen all the time. But
Absolutely.
I think our society only has that image of a surgery room or an OR room unless they've actually been there themselves.
Yeah.
So what I like to do is in my classes, I teach people why it's important to have a sterile instrument in a field or in a room or operating theater, and why your job in that indirect patient care is so pivotal in saving lives. So a sterile processing technician is a person who is responsible for the life cycle of an instrument or a medical piece of equipment. So it can be the scalpel they're using or the drape that they place over the patient, but all of those things have to be sterile,
Absolutely.
meaning free of microorganisms that can infect or harm the body.
Okay.
So we teach people how to handle instruments, how to track instruments inside of a hospital. We teach them anatomy and physiology of your body, the biology of the body, and different types of life structures. And we also do a lot of in-depth work and hands-on work and return demonstrations in the classroom so that the student really gets the hands-on feeling of how to do the job.
Okay. And for the layman terms, folks, we talking about germs.
Germs.
Get rid of germs.
Those bad things.
Okay. So how long is the program for? Usually the sterile tech program.
The sterile processing technician in class, it's a 10-week class. At the end of that, you will be eligible to sit for an international board exam.
Okay.
Once you obtain certification through that board exam, our school also offers the opportunity for the student to go and receive hands-on training in the field at a healthcare facility, be it a surgery center or a hospital. And that can be upwards of 240 hours to 400 hours. And we are really, really passionate about working with working students and people who have other obligations like life and
Absolutely,
family.
yeah.
So our hospitals recognize that as well and will allow us to work with students' schedules so that they can still use their time during this externship opportunity
Absolutely.
to benefit the hospital and their own personal lives.
That's
so
good.
we
That's
stretch
good.
it out. The class is 10 weeks. You'll be certified. At that point, you're hireable. But we want to give you a little bit extra and give you the hands-on
Yeah,
put that on
absolutely,
your resume so that when you go to apply, it's not,
have
oh, I'm
the-
just certified. It's I'm
Yeah.
certified and I was trained by this hospital and this manager thinks I'm this great.
Absolutely. Oh, that's fantastic. So what are the prereqs for the sterile sex?
Yeah, how do you
program?
get in the program?
Yeah, you have to be at least a high school graduate or
Okay.
a GED.
Okay.
Because let's say you didn't have any high school graduate, you've gone through the whole program,
Mhm.
right? And then come to apply for a job, they'll ask you, do you have a high school diploma?
Absolutely.
Right? So we try to encourage students that this is our admission criteria, that you must be at least 18 years of age,
Mhm.
a high school graduate, or with a GED,
Okay.
or with a college transcript if you have gone through a college.
Okay.
Anything to prove that you have gone through those minimum requirements, then we'll invite you to
The
go
program.
into the program.
Okay.
But before that, we do have an assessment. We call it aptitude and attitude.
Okay.
It's a AAA.
I took that assessment, by the way.
and
Yeah,
attitude.
I
Wow.
want to know how was my attitude.
So you're dealing with the psyche and
Yeah.
the actual if you know things.
Well, it's actually the way we align this
Okay.
program with the employment.
Okay.
Directly. So it's sort of like we coin it as enrollment to employment.
Okay,
From the moment
absolutely.
you enroll, we're already
Grooming
molding
you. Yeah,
molding
absolutely.
you. Not only as a sterile processing technician, but as a whole
Mm-hmm.
package
Absolutely.
that you're hireable not only in your aptitude but also your attitude.
That's
If you have-
fantastic.
yeah.
That
So-
is good.
Yeah.
That's really good. I
Yeah.
never heard of that.
It gives us
That's really good.
It gives us the quantifiable data from the beginning before
Absolutely.
the student actually comes in to sit with us for orientation or admission.
yeah.
We have data that we can use to, in the future, if we have to write a letter of recommendation. I personally, when I
yeah.
love doing that, I like to use pieces of or sources of information that are factual and true,
Absolutely.
not just fluff or hackneyed.
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
I
because it's a lot of people that do come to the program just to get by, just
Yeah.
to actually because they
Just
were
finish
told
it.
to.
Right.
You
yeah,
know,
the
parents
followers
and
are-
Exactly.
They collect in
Yeah.
a certificate to
Absolutely.
but that's not what we do.
Absolutely.
We
you
want
want a
to
well-rounded
mold them.
individual. coming to
Exactly.
your
We help
program.
them when
Right.
they're done. They don't just go off into the work field. We help them
Yeah.
create a professional portfolio
Absolutely.
that
That is
surpasses a
fantastic.
resume.
That is
Yeah.
one of a
Yeah.
kind because I never
Yes.
heard of that before.
Well, you ask any colleges here in the Bay Area if they do pre-employment assessment. We're the only one that does the pre-employment assessment.
Wow.
We treat you as a hireable right from
Right.
the get-go.
Yeah.
That is
So-
because your
Wow.
name and your reputation is
Yes,
on the line, is what I would
Definitely.
think.
Absolutely.
Definitely,
Right?
So it's not only a hiring passing rate in our board exam. By the way, we have achieved one of the highest passing rate in the nation.
Well, that was
Okay.
one of my questions.
Yeah.
What is that rate? Like,
Yeah, we have 100% passing rate in the board exam.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow.
verifiable with the board, CPSPD.
Mm-hmm.
We've actually received a commendation letter that
Mm-hmm.
we have achieved the highest passing rate. Of course, during the span of 10 years, of course, you have ups
Peaks and
and downs,
flows,
like
yeah,
95,
exactly,
but we've never
exactly.
gone down to 95%. It's always
Wow.
because that's our goal, 95% to and up.
That's really
100%.
good.
That's really
Because
good.
that's a reflection on us.
That's a
Um,
great success rate. So how much is the program? Let's get back.
Right.
To
Well,
the
to
meat
that,
and potatoes.
yes.
That's
I'm
probably
right
what
direct.
everybody at this point is really concerned about. We'll get to it. The cost for sterile processing is $2,500.
Okay.
Which, in the grand scheme of education, is less than a television.
It's pennies
set
on a
in some
dollar.
places.
Yes, absolutely.
But I do also understand, and I'm not trying to understate the weight or gravity of that amount, because I know personally from
Yeah.
experience that can be a very large amount.
Absolutely.
So we do work with people from all backgrounds and all financial settings so that they can afford an education. That's
Right.
why $2,500 for a 10-week course
Yeah.
really factors into being affordable in my personal perspective. And we also allow for payment plans. So it's not like we need $2,500 up front before you
Yeah,
sign a
yeah.
paper, or else you can't come sit in the class.
but how do you define, for those
payment.
that's
Yes,
watching and
definitely.
listening,
Yes.
the payment plan? So they need to pay while they're in school,
program, yes.
not pay when they're completed with school. It needs to be completely paid in full
Right.
upon graduation. Is that what you're talking about?
Perfect. Yes, there is.
Okay.
If we really need to get to the, because I know
Well, no,
that
we're
people
not going to go into numbers, but I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
saying that I don't want anyone to listen and say,
Right.
"Oh, well, I thought you guys had a payment
Yeah.
plan," and go through the whole entire program and they still owe.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not what you're saying, right?
No, they are allowed to stretch the payment out up until the graduation.
Okay.
They
Oh,
should
there you
meet
go.
their financial obligation. In
So
order to
about-
receive a diploma, to apply for the board exam.
Yeah,
In order
yeah.
to sit for the board exam, you have to show the diploma from a school.
Okay.
from our
Okay.
school. So
Okay.
in order to release that, you have to have your financial obligation met. But we will work with you to getting to that point.
Okay.
Now, what if
We
you don't
understand.
have the money for the program at the end? Can you stretch the program time out or the payment plan out? Because I know it's a 10-week program, and 10 weeks and $2,500 to me is like maybe like
Sometimes
Some-
impossible if you're, especially
Absolutely.
because we have students, some of them are on EDD like I was in
Absolutely.
the past, and I had to make my checks work for me.
Yeah.
So we will use that as an opportunity to, as a case-by-case basis, we take everything into account.
Okay. Is it tuition assistance with the program or?
There isn't any financial aid for this because it's only $2,500.
Yeah.
And then we're a
Okay.
private.
And you're a private
institution,
school.
right?
Okay.
We're different from a community college where there's a federal or FAFSA they call it,
Uh-huh.
federal grants, federal Pell Grant, and all that. But with us, we're a private institution.
So you
what
have to
if
take out a
we-
private loan.
No loans.
No
No
loan
Well, you can have
period.
personal loan. You can have personal loan.
No,
Okay.
you're gonna have to. You're gonna have to get a couple of McDonald's jobs.
Exactly.
Or something. You're gonna have to.
Uber your way to the top.
This is an investment, everybody.
Yeah,
Those that are
absolutely,
listening, this
absolutely.
is an investment. So don't look at it like, oh man, there's no loans, there's no grants. No, this is an investment. So don't look at it like that. Look at it like, okay, you might have to work an extra job or a few more hours
Absolutely.
on your job so that you can invest in a career.
Not a
'Cause
job.
as
This is
Kiana
a
said
career.
in the last podcast, that this is not just a job. This is a career, and it's the floor career into the surgical team. Is that
Absolutely.
right? So you
Exactly.
can actually become a surgical technician as well.
Yes.
And
Right?
that's why in the day of graduation we make it very, very special. You want to know how?
Wow.
How?
Other schools on the last day of the class, the instructors just hand out certificate. For us, we have it in a hotel.
Oh wow.
We always have it every.
Oh, y'all
quarter.
big time.
Yeah.
What hotel?
Okay.
Let's see
I
how
know,
big
I know,
time.
like-
Yeah.
Crown Plaza.
Yeah, we all.
No,
yeah.
but we take pride in that.
Yeah.
We have a nice relationship
Because
with them. They
as you
love our
mentioned about
students.
career,
Yeah.
we want to make it special as possible.
Absolutely.
You know why? Because some students, this is their career.
And it's
Or
a
a
great
stepping stone to their
accomplishment.
career.
I mean,
It is.
because if
It
you,
is.
I mean, for me, I went to a trade school too. So I graduated as a medical assistant. That's not what I was hired for, but
Yeah.
you know, it helped me get a foot in the door.
Right, right.
So with that being said, I think that having a trade or a college education is
Very
worth
important.
it. It's worth the
Gives you a
investment.
boost.
It's worth the
Gives you a
investment.
boost.
From my
You're more
perspective,
marketable.
we have a lot in this Hayward area in Northern California, a lot of different backgrounds.
Absolutely.
And personally, I have been in classes with people who are first generations here
Yes.
that come from different countries.
Ethiopia,
Exactly, Ethiopia, all over the
Nigeria.
place,
I had,
Nigeria.
after graduation, one guy from Ethiopia who was
Wow.
a refugee, but he's been here for about 10 years or so. He
Yeah.
speaks very good English. And he approached me, he shook my hand really, he goes, thank you. I said, well, thank you. No, I mean, thank you. This is the very first time I ever graduated.
Wow.
Yeah, he never
That
had
means
it.
a lot.
It
That means a lot.
to
That
him.
means a lot.
Yeah, and so he brought all his friends, loved ones. Yes, and that was an amazing experience with some of the students.
Well, I had like two questions. The first question I wanted to know is because so many people invest, like you said, you went to a trade school
Yeah.
for medical. So many people go to these vocational schools or they go for a trade. And then upon graduating, they can actually work
Yeah.
in that field of study. So one of the questions that I have is, of your graduating class, how many people in that graduating class actually gain gainful employment or hired to work in the field of study that they went for?
Right. Well, that's basically what I was about to explain to you. During the externship, we have students that have gone through 6 weeks, 10 weeks of externship. And during that externship, the hospital director says, you know what? You stand out like a sore thumb. You're a
Right.
star, so I'm going to hire you. So
Okay.
during the externship, it's not only training opportunity, but also employment opportunity.
Okay.
Right.
Because why should they hire someone off the street, never been trained?
Right.
Whereas this one, these are students that have gone through the program, are board certified,
Yeah.
and now we're handling instruments.
Right.
All
Absolutely.
they need is just completion of.
So do you
surgery.
have any stats on?
Oh, yeah. So we have about 85%. Because
Okay.
some
Okay,
students-
that's pretty good. That's
because
pretty
some
good.
students already referred by Kaisers or other hospitals. They're already working in the field. They just need to be certified. So that's not
Oh, okay.
because they're just sent by the hospital.
Yeah.
They
Train
by
a
the
lot of
Continuing
hospitals
education.
that are
education,
grandfathered already,
Yeah.
but just need
Yeah.
the certification.
Right.
Yeah.
But another thing I wanted to say, just to add to that, that you guys are partnered with some of the top hospitals here in the Bay Area. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes, we're partnered with Sutter's. We're partnered with
Okay.
UCSF, El Camino, as we mentioned, all the Kaisers in Northern California. And I'm currently
Wow.
working on a contract that's moving pretty well with the Kaisers in Southern California near Camarillo. UC Davis in the Sacramento, Elk Grove area. And
Okay.
UC Davis is amazing with our students. They're a teaching institution, our teaching hospital as well. And they take 9 of our students every cycle of a rotation.
Wow.
And for people who are familiar with getting people into there, that's a lot for
Yeah, it is.
a place
It
to
is.
take on as a responsibility, as well as what I'm really passionate about, the VA.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are
Our
really connected with
veterans.
That's
the
good.
VA. Yes,
Oh,
that's,
yeah.
that's pretty much
You,
how
you never think about that when you actually
Oh, yes.
looking at hospitals and clinical
that's a big point.
institutions. We never
Yes.
I
look
have
at
a
that.
big meeting with them tomorrow for our Sacramento office,
That's
and they're
VA
going Mather Martinez, and they're
Wow.
looking to expand into there. But I have students that just finished at VASF. They hire our students all the time.
Wow.
They love our students. They're looking for veterans. So if people are
Wow.
listening and know
Yeah.
veterans,
Veterans?
there are ways. I plan on going on a campaign to all the VA posts. So if they're
Absolutely.
listening, they're going to see
Absolutely.
me soon, because I think there's a need, and we have the
Absolutely.
people to fill that need, and there just
Yeah.
needs to be an advocate or someone willing to just guide them, and I will
Absolutely.
be that guide for them. Hopefully,
Right.
they receive us the same way that they've received us in the past.
Okay. Okay.
So that's what I'm excited
And
about.
then the other question I had was the flexible schedule. A lot of people may not know that's listening. There are programs that's out there similar to what you're doing, but they don't offer the flexible schedule that you have. Can you speak on that, or?
Yeah. Well, our schedule is, as you were saying, very flexible. We like to offer night and weekend classes and weekday and weekend classes. So
Wow.
we'll have a weekend schedule that starts at 8:30 and runs for 4 to 6 hours as for people who are available on weekends. And for those who have free time through the week, we have Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedules, as well as Tuesday, Thursday schedules.
Oh wow.
In the morning and evening. And if you are unavailable for those amounts of time throughout the week to show up for the didactic class, we also offer a hybrid education program, which is something that we've coined and started. And it's spelled hybrid with a capital ED at the end.
Okay.
So
Okay.
what that is you take 80% of the course online and 20% has to be in the classroom. Because you can't learn the
Oh,
skills of
wow.
folding a tray or dealing with instruments without
Yeah.
actually seeing
Hands
them.
on. Yeah. Yeah.
So we work with you and your schedule throughout those weeks to plan the time where you can come in so that it works for you. But 80% of our course is offered online.
You okay over there, Mrs.
I know,
Cecilio?
I'm like-
having this
Okay. No
cold.
problem. No
Yeah.
problem.
Everyone.
So is it a difference of cost when you do that? The hybrid program.
The hybrid program is the same cost if you're
Okay,
going to
that's
the
so the
externship
convenience is at your own fingertips, and
Yes.
you can still pay the same
Yeah.
amount.
So you
at-
go through online our different modules of
Okay.
the course material, the textbook material, the hard
Okay.
meat and potatoes of the course, but we still expect you to show up for 20% of class so that you
Yeah.
can do the return demonstrations,
Yeah.
learn the instruments, and actually interact with people, because that is half of the job.
Yeah.
The instructor needs to be able to witness and observe
Absolutely.
if you know how to do bilateral conversation skills
Okay.
and things of that nature.
That's pretty good. Oh my God, that's really good.
And the other thing, I think, just from a spiritual standpoint, because now I just want to go there.
Fine, perfect.
Here we go, Sister Johnny.
Sister Johnny. But the thing that I love about your program, everything that you already said, but the thing that I absolutely love is that you're Christian based.
Oh,
Now,
really? Okay.
You're faith based. So even if someone's not a Christian, you can still partake in this program. I'm just
Definitely.
saying that you're now entering into a program that is just not shifting you through the classes or the course. You guys have faith in God. So it is your mission to make sure that all of your students are
Succeed.
successful.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I love about Cornerstone.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you for that. Well, Cornerstone
That
is
was
actually-
new for me. I didn't
Yeah.
know. That was
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
The
That's
word
right.
cornerstone,
It's
boss,
in
you
the
can
Bible.
tell us.
Yeah, let's talk
Wow.
about it.
Cornerstone is actually in the Bible.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Price is a chief cornerstone. And it's
Wow.
also in the dictionary. It means cornerstone is a foundation. So it's built upon foundation.
Okay,
So
okay.
We have
That's
our
some
core
good
values,
insight about
yeah.
the history of
Right.
Cornerstone. That's
Right,
good.
right.
If you come to our orientation or some of our webinars, which is a new thing that we're trying to launch, or virtual webinars for people who are individuals who would be interested in the class but maybe can't drive to Hayward or can't
Yeah.
drive to Elk Grove, but have access to a cell phone with data or
Exactly.
or a computer with internet or can get to a cafe, we can literally virtually remotely get
Walk
into
you through
whatever
the course,
piece of
yeah.
technology they're in and walk them through an overview of our class or maybe
Wow.
a PowerPoint projection or a webinar and
That's
answer
really
whatever
good.
questions they may have because we want to be convenient and accessible for people.
That is really good. I like that. I'm thinking about joining it. I mean,
Right.
what is this?
Online?
Well, you can.
I mean, seriously, I'm
Yeah.
serious. I got
Definitely,
like
since you
what
went
I-
to Kaiser,
a lot going on, but I have to. I have
still
to
processing
See
is-
how I can fit it in.
It's very honorable. I always teach my students, you don't have to be the doctor to save someone's life.
Yeah.
Indirect patient care probably is in some instances more important than the direct patient care because if you don't know what you're doing indirectly, how will you know what you're preventing directly? And I
Absolutely.
say that to say every day you're on your job as a sterile processing technician, every move that you make is a life-saving decision that you're making.
Absolutely.
So
That's right.
So, and my question is,
Yeah.
are you guys an accredited foundation?
Here in the state of California, we're not federally accredited because we're only state, but we are under BPPE. It's
Okay.
an exemption status institution.
Can you
Okay.
can you say that again? You're what?
Be-
An exemption status
Exemption.
institution. Yeah. Because we're a non-profit, plus our program is mostly short term.
Okay,
You could
okay.
start
But you still
having-
get certified,
Right.
Yeah.
becoming a sterile
Exactly.
processing
Right.
technique. Okay.
Like dialysis technicians, CNAs, they would take the state exam.
Yeah.
Because they're regulated. So basically, we're under Department of Health Services as well.
Okay.
Because we
Okay.
handle patient care.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And speaking of regulations, I think you might want to take this on, Ron.
yes,
This is your
definitely.
baby.
Well, because I'm sure you've noticed, I'm really passionate about us as a species and
Absolutely.
our preservation. Honestly, I think about those types of things. And I think that we need, as a collective group of human beings, to come to some sort of agreement on if this specific field needs to be regulated. Meaning, New York and New Jersey right now are the only two states that, in order to be a sterile processor, you have to go to formal education training and be certified. That's not the case in the state of California, where we have one of the biggest populations per state.
Yeah.
And I would think that the more people like us who would speak up about this fact might start to change things. So hopefully it is our plan in the future to bring up legislation and to bring voices together that rally and unite behind the idea that if
Absolutely.
you're going to handle an instrument that is going to be used on someone that
Yeah.
could potentially kill them, you should probably be certified
Absolutely.
or formally
Absolutely.
trained in that type of responsibility.
Exactly. Another thing is dog groomers
Yeah.
and tattoo artists they have to be certified, licensed, state licensed. And on the other hand, you have sterilization technicians are not regulated. So there's like a disconnect there, right?
Yeah.
You have dog groomers who handles dogs, and you have sterilization.
A human
technicians.
life.
Wow.
Like
So
that's
that-
just not
Yeah.
It
even
doesn't
comparison.
make sense, right? It doesn't make sense.
That's not even comparison. I need my life to be certified by a certified technician
Exactly.
who knows what they're doing and are going to kill those microorganisms.
Exactly.
And that's what happened in
Because I want to be here a long time. I don't want to be
Exactly, right.
opened and then
Right.
Most people go into the hospital and they just assume that everyone working in that hospital
Lord.
was trained or received
and I've
the
assumed
proper
that so many
education.
times. Oh my God.
Don't we? But is that the fact? That is
Right.
not the fact. The statistics for healthcare acquired infections, or HAIs, would dictate differently. How many people do you think a year die from a healthcare acquired infection? That means someone they walk into the hospital with the sniffles and leave out and eventually die from a complication they got from walking into that hospital.
And
Right.
let's go break down
How many?
what is it?
HAI.
HAI.
Let's break that down for
That's the healthcare acquired infection. When you walk into
Okay.
the hospital, let's say you walk in there with a common cold,
Yeah.
and then they treat you, but the stethoscope that they
Yeah.
used has something on it that wasn't
Yeah.
clean, and you
Yeah.
have a cut on the place where they put it,
Yeah.
and you end up getting hepatitis A, and that's really bad for your
Yeah.
particular
Or
system.
you have a surgery.
Or you
Yeah.
have a surgery.
Or not even that, like
It could be
like
something
you
as
said,
small
like
or
any type
minor.
of medical equipment. Like my mother, she's in a situation where she has something that came from the hospital that she's in, and it's called CRE.
Yeah.
It's a superbug, and you only it's like so many medicines can actually cure it. Antibiotics, and it's like one of them can possibly mess with your kidneys, and the other one can mess with your heart. So we have to factor out those two and actually choose the one that's going to mess with her kidneys.
Exactly.
But the actual bug came from the hospital.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where it came from, but it came from the hospital.
Now, I don't want to create this idea that we're in anywhere near the realm of having the capability of eradicating microorganisms from a closed system to the degree that would be necessary to have hospitals at 100% efficiency.
Yeah.
But I do think that we could take steps towards getting to that
Being
goal, and that should
proactive,
be our goal.
exactly.
Right.
And I think the more that we make people aware of this, the number of people who die from those healthcare-acquired infections is floating around 90,000 people per
Yes.
year. That's worse
That's a
than
lot.
some of our wars. That's
Yeah,
worse than
yeah.
some of the traffic statistics for deadly accidents. So if you would take the same kind of measures to prevent people from drunk driving or to prevent people from doing certain measures,
Yeah.
That's good.
why not the same respect for
Sterilization.
people going into
Absolutely.
surgery?
Absolutely.
And I think
I
enough
so
of
feel
us
that. Oh my
feeling
God.
this and actually thinking this, maybe we'll start to see a ripple. Hopefully someone
Absolutely.
or somewhere can be that ripple where now people are going to the hospital with confidence instead of confusion or doubt.
And that's why we, Cornerstones, we're spearheading this advocacy. Because what happened in Southern California, you have this hospital, I'm not going to mention the
Right.
name of the hospital, out of 56 HAI patients, 11 of them died.
Wow.
Due to what?
Scopes.
Scopes, dirty scopes.
Wow.
Like if
And
you have an
then-
endoscope or colonoscopy, the viewing
Yeah.
instrument that they body
Oh
with, in corners and not using medical air. And what that did was it created infections in patients
Oh
that
my
ended
God.
up killing them from
Can you
just
believe that?
not even a
That is
major
crazy.
procedure.
Girl, I'm sitting there like, oh
It
my
wasn't
God.
even a major procedure. It was a viewing procedure just to view
Wow.
inside of the body. And I don't know the particulars on each case,
Like
but
the colonoscopy.
yeah, some of them they
and
might
stuff.
have removed
Yeah.
polyps
Yeah.
or done some extraction, but the
Yeah.
overall idea is
It's supposed
they
to be
were just
clean.
viewing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not like
And
the
people
instrument.
died from that.
That's
Exactly.
crazy.
Yeah, that,
Uh,
just imagine if you have a colonoscopy being used on Ron and not sterilized
Cleaned,
and,
and then-
and use it on,
It's like,
right? You wouldn't want that, right?
So
You
I want to
say-
go ahead and ask you guys: is having a trade actually necessary for the workplace or the success of the workplace? Because we have, like I said before, we had Trump, who's in office, who does not have any type of education background, and we had Obama, who did have an education background, but he was pretty successful in his job versus Trump. So is it really necessary that we have a trade?
In the sense of like high school diploma, I think.
No,
that's
in the
what
sense
helps
of like actually succeeding in the workplace or actually getting a job and being successful in that
Well,
job.
you know, certification is very important. You know, going through the training program and then being board certified, that tells a lot about you, that you have met the minimum competency level
Absolutely.
to handle instruments, right? Microbiology, that's in the class. Why? We have to learn how microorganisms are being transferred or transmitted from one point to another. That's very important. And also anatomy and physiology, that's part of the class also. We discuss that. Why? Because if you don't know the body systems, how would you connect that or correlate that with the instruments, right? Like colonoscopy, which body part would you be using that?
Right.
It's not in your mouth, right? So those are the kind of things that's very important to learn the trade through the vocational training. That's the core. There wouldn't be any math or history
Absolutely.
or humanity or any of this type or English classes. These are just core classes where you don't need to learn all that. All you need to know is a practical
Right.
component of the trade. And
Absolutely.
this particular one is sterile processing technician.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as we're getting ready to wrap up now.
And we thank you so much,
But-
Mr.
Thank
you, thank
Cecilio
you.
and Ronald.
But before we wrap up, I just want you to let all the listeners know how they can get in contact with you. Your platforms, if you could tell people how they can get in contact with you, would be great.
Well, definitely. They can find us on Facebook if they go to facebook.com/the Cornerstone EDU,
Okay.
the Cornerstone College EDU, or they can find us at thecornerstonecollege.com. So that's www.thecornerstonecollege.com.
Okay.
They
And they're
also have
located in
Twitter.
Hayward.
We also have Instagram. They can just type in Cornerstone International College. We'll show up there.
Okay.
And they're in Hayward. So this is a Bay Area business. So they are in Hayward, California.
We have
24301
Yes,
Southland
Southland
Drive,
Drive.
Suite 214.
right across from Southland Mall. So
Oh,
if you're
wow,
driving
okay.
on the 880 freeway and you see the big on-time sign or the carnival there, and you look right past that in the foreground, that big 6-story building,
Oh,
you'll
okay.
see
And I've
we're
seen it
in that
before.
building. Yes,
Okay.
we're on several
We
floors
also
throughout that
have
building.
Elk Grove.
Elk Grove
That's
location near
our
San
campus
Okay.
extension. Also Camarillo. That's our
Okay.
campus
Which is near
extension.
LA, right outside LA.
Yeah, near Ventura,
Ventura
County.
County. Yes.
But essentially, we can reach you at Cornerstone. Just type in the Cornerstone College and we can see you guys.
International.
Okay.
We
Right.
also have
International,
one
okay.
in Manila. Also,
Okay.
in the Philippines.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
And then we also have Cornerstone's information up on our platforms as well, IG, Facebook, Twitter as well. So just look them up, Google them.
Yes.
We are hella speaking up
And
here.
we thank you
And-
for the
Oh, you had another
experience.
thing you want to say?
Yes, just in case anyone was interested, we do have on upcoming classes
Okay.
that are enrolling for this sterile processing program that start next week Saturday and the
Okay.
following Monday in the Hayward campus.
Okay,
So if they
thank
were
you.
interested and they wanted to get in, they only hold 4 board exams per year, every 3 months.
Oh, okay.
So if you wanted to be a sterile processor, you wanted to get this job started within 6 months, I advocate joining one of our either weekend classes that start the 27th or our Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday class that start the week of the 29th. And that's for here in Hayward and Elk Grove.
Okay, thank you so
All
much.
Thank you for inviting us.
No
Thank you
problem.
guys.
We appreciate
Yes.
you guys for coming.
Thank you
Oh,
for
I wanna
coming.
come back.
Guest
Oh, you got something else
on our
to say?
second podcast.
I just want to say I would love to come back.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You're going to come back. We really appreciate you. You have some other things that you're doing. I'm taking the class too, y'all, so we're not just telling y'all.
Awesome progress.
Thank you.
God bless you. Thank you
God
so
bless
much.
you.
This is
Hella Speaking Up.
All right.